Hello, everybody. The case study we're going to do today is how to convince schools, how to persuade schools to be like have a better mental health approach. Like by introducing counselors and like few other things. So, Ilakkiya, why don't you start?
Okay. So for me, schools like they money's important, right? Budget's important. So I would try to empathize with that. Be like, hey, I'm Ilakkiya, student in your school, 12th grade, this, that. I think it would be really beneficial for us to have a school counselor available for students so that if they have mental health struggles or mental health challenges, things that are not just, academic concerns of, oh, I don't have enough time to study at home, but more, genuine concerns, things that people are struggling with, it would be good for them to have a person to talk to because I know that I'm going to pivot. I'm going to actually use the student academic success approach. So I know that it's really important that we show high rankings for student success, student grades in our exams, 10th and 12th grade, like we want high scores. That's important to our reputation. And here's some evidence in these papers that show that when students are struggling mentally with any number of undiagnosed mental illnesses or just mental health challenges at home, distress, self-esteem, many other anxiety, depression, there's a lot of things. And if it's not addressed and they don't get help, it affects their academic success. They're not going to be able to focus. They're going to have lower self-esteem, lower performance. It affects a lot of things. And by having a counselor, we're creating a way for them to get mental health help, which will improve grades. So that one approach.
Yeah, I agree with that. So it's like for the brand image, having like mental health person like a counselor would help. My thing would be, I would say, probably get someone who was very recently a student, either by college or like by school. I mean, not by school because it takes some time to study these things. But like so by doing that, you are sort of recruiting someone who knows what they have to do. It's not like I read a mental health book and I'm like, okay, I'm a counselor today. So they actually like have gone through the process and they know what to do. But at the same time, a huge part of counselor is being able to understand what the other person is saying. I also mean that yeah, they should recruit people. It's not like it should be like a mental health revolution, not an evolution where you're like whichever teachers have some extra time. Hey, can you do this too? Thanks. That's not what I meant.
For sure. Yeah, that is an important point. Like you definitely want a revolution. You just don't want a evolution because you can make the point of, if you have a therapist, in this case, a counselor who's really just a teacher, and they don't really have proper training, they might end up harming more than helping. Additionally, if students have that teacher as in one of their classes, how are they supposed to treat them as a counselor and, share the things that they're going through concerned about? They might worry about, how does that turn out in the classroom? One of the benefits of a counselor is that it's confidential. Having teachers as counselors is a conflict of interest for the teacher and the student. It's not great. We need to get a counselor. That's a good logical argument that you can make in that situation. And in general, since this is a bigger request in terms of hiring a new staff person for the school's probably going to be reacting and saying no and like closing off and being like, no, I don't want to spend money on that. So, smaller requests first. So maybe can you organize maybe a mental health activity, an event, and see how turnout goes, right? Like organize that, low effort, tabling. You can have teachers run it if you want to, but have a way for people to discuss mental health in school. See how it is and get information from the students themselves. You don't have to listen to me and make this big change. Hear from all the students. Can you do that? And then once they hear from the students, you can make the bigger request of now look at these 500 students who said they would like to have a counselor. Now, what do you think? Right?
What you're doing when you use a mental health initiative is going to be good for the world. It's going to be good for the school. But would the students accept it right away? Because they might think, oh wait, it was all the stereotypes and everything that you might have lived through it, but they lived through it too. Their parents lived through it too. And what if they're not understanding? So you also have to sort of just take a leap of faith and do the right thing.
For sure. And I really like your emphasis on, students themselves are going to have to overcome stigma, which is important to address, because if the school does add a counselor to their building, to their school, but they see that no one's using it, they shouldn't take it as a sign of, see, I was right. No one wants this. No one needs it. It's wasted. School needs to know that they need to put in some effort to counter the stigma that exists and make it accessible. Have the counselor go to classes in free periods and talk about it. Have workshops. Maybe get some advice from other schools that do have counselors and see what it's like in their schools to get a sense of how should they advertise it and make it a successful program. So then how do you create buy-in from them? Why would they want to put in the time and effort to advertise this counseling program? Well, you can say that, a lot of schools, I don't know if this is the right approach, so tell me what you think, Akshay, but some schools have come under fire for like sexual assault, sexual abuse violations. It's rare, but it happens. And having a counselor in the school might be a visible way to show that as a school, you're countering that. And so by making sure the program is well accessible and well advertised to students, it shows that you're putting a step in the right direction. You're taking a step in the right direction of making sure things like that are heard, addressed, supported, doesn't happen again. So that might be one buy-in for why they should make sure this program succeeds.
Yeah, I mean that we can just go on and on these things. I do agree with you. Like it would definitely help with like the sexual harassment, sexual assault, all those things, and it just shows that you are the school that wants to keep improving, wants to stay at the top, and it would make all the life of a lot of teachers easy, because like teaching would be easier because all these situations are being handled. Being a principal would be easier because they would be getting better scores. And if you don't believe me, you don't have to, because there are statistics that show that it does work in this way.
Yeah, just real quick point before you wrap it up. For both the point that I just made and Akshay just made, there's a risk of getting into the me versus you argument of students versus the school. It's important to try and align yourself with the school and say, I really like our school. I've had a great time here. I enjoy my memories here. I've met good people. I want that to continue for students in the future. That's why it's important that we're at the top of our game. I want students to feel supported. That's why we should have a counselor in case, things that shouldn't be happening are happening, Like it hasn't happened so far. Really thankful for it. I hope that we continue. This is one way we help that future. So kind of get on the school side in this argument as well.
We are not anti-school here, because schools are needed, a requirement. Without school, we can't go anywhere. But there are certain things that we can do better in schools, and this is one of them. And that's all we're saying. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll come up with another topic tomorrow. See you then.
See you then.
Oh, you're still here? Well, thanks for getting to the end of the video. Hey, while you're still here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get new updates when we post videos. Also, make sure to check out these equally exciting videos as well. Have you pressed it yet? Come on, you have 5 seconds left. 3, 2, press it now.